Okay, how's everybody doing? So, in this short episode, I want to treat it a little bit as a vloggy kind of update. I know that like it's hard sometimes to define a vlog and a tutorial because I sort of mix them up, and I like to do that. I like to mix things up and keep it interesting. But this is more of a just a bit of a commentary about art and fear or art making. And it's really meant to be a bit of an exhortation or an encouragement to those that, are in the layout building process or into model railroading and they want to take it further. Like they see more than just riding trains in circles. Like this isn't for the setting up the model railroad around the Christmas tree or just slapping down a piece of plywood and running trains in circles. Like I get that. There's a following for that and that's great. But as most of you know by now, like that's not how I see model railroading. Like I think that nowadays, not particularly the boomer generation, but let me just give a plug for the boomer actually. Like the boomer deserves respect. Like I kind of chuckle sometimes, and when I hear, the younger generation, as much as I love them, you know, act like they know it all. Like like they don't, like they have this sort of attitude about the older veteran modelers and stuff. Like they disassociate them by calling them rivet counters and, stuffy old traditionalists. Like there's nothing further from the truth, man. You know? Like we're the ones that have earned, our respect. Like if you think you're just going to dive into life and achieve greatness, well, you're a dreamer. Which brings me to the subject of art and fear in the context of model railroading. Like any model railroader out there, and you know them, like the ones I mean on YouTube, but there's lots of good blogs and a lot of really highly respectable model railroaders that don't even do YouTube. They don't even advertise their layout because they don't feel compelled to do it. They don't have to either, right? Because they don't need to prove to anyone. So this channel is not about me searching for fame and notoriety because I already had that. I was already paid for all of that. Yes, the channel pays me probably above average for the amount of subscribers that I have, but that's not just for one reason though. The channel right now has a really good above average RPM CPM rate, and that's due to most of my subscribers that are loyal to the channel. And I would say, like I welcome the younger ones in, but I would say that most of them, over 50% of my subscribers are over 55. So they're of, the boomer generation, but this isn't just about boomer community. This is about the whole model railroad community at large. And I'm sharing to you this journey of art in the context of model railroading on the model, the layout, in this case a diorama style shelf layout journey of what I experience, what I go through, how I go about things, why I do things systematically the way I do. Like it's one individual, right? And their experience with the model railroad in the sense of or context of art, right? Yeah, I love to run trains. I think it's cool. I watched a channel where the guy all he did was run trains in circles, super long trains, right? But that's his thing. This is my thing. And art, this book right here, I'll just share it with you quick. It's a book I'm reading on. I've read a lot of books obviously on art, but it's by David Bales and Ted Orland. And it's a great little read. It's only like 100 pages long. And it's easy to read, and it's just a fantastic book. Art and Fear: Observations on the Perils and Rewards of Art Making. Okay? And I want to talk just a little bit about that because art, like most art that we see through history and in the world, is made by ordinary people. Like Van Gogh's and, Da Vinci's and, they only come around once every 150 years, right? Like those are the ultra geniuses, of our society, that we get to share and read about, and they set a standard that we all hope one day to achieve, but know soberly that we never will. But most great art in the world is just made by ordinary people that work hard. And just to summarize this book quick, like this is really about overcoming fear through just determination, like not quitting. Like I don't mean stopping. Like every artist or model railroader needs to stop at some point for a while and take a breather. But they don't quit, right? And that's how you achieve this. You don't achieve this by just assuming that you're good or you're good at it, or taking ideas from everyone and quietly assuming they're your own. Like paying it forward, like paying respect forward. Like I try my best to give credit, like most notably when I point out a model railroader or an artist that I respect, I try to give them credit for it. Sometimes I'll quote people. I won't always give credit because I forget to, or I'll unquote somebody, or take a quote and like evolve it some or whatever. But I try to pay the credit forward because that's where the credit is due. Like I'm only the product of some other, like the John Allens and all those people that were before me that I studied and read about. And I decided that I was going to overcome fear and apply all the skills in art, like practice them. Like they don't come, there's no such thing as an automatic gift that just emulates out of a person. Like it doesn't work that way. Like if you want to be good at something, you got to work harder than everybody else. If you want, like, for example, and I don't like to talk too much about the channel, but if you want a successful YouTube channel, it's not about really millions of views and 100,000 subscribers. Of course that does, but it's all relative. Like I know lots of big channels that have 40, 50,000, subscribers, and people with 10 that make more money than they do. So if that's your game, if that's what you're after, like you need to rethink it, right? Because it doesn't work that way. Like YouTube knows, like they know, like it's probably the most sophisticated platform in the world and one of the most powerful media platforms for sure, and the most user-friendly too, but they know what's going on. Like they know if you are serious about what you're doing. So if that's what you're after, then you need to look at that. But if you don't care about it, like I kind of joined in and didn't care, but then they emailed me and said basically, we like what you're doing, and and they offered monetization to me. So just to touch quickly about the equipment that I bought, like I don't have super expensive equipment either. Like I bought a new light that was expensive, but YouTube paid for it. But I earned it though, right? I earned it. So if you want to overcome fear and do good art, like model railroad art, you got to put the time in. You got to practice. Like you got to decide, okay, like let's just start from scratch here. I want to build a layout 12 feet long by 2 feet. I'm going to go take pictures of the area that I love the most, that I like to visit. I'm going to read 3, 4, 5, 6 books on it. I'm going to consult. I'm going to study. I'm going to draw 5, 6 plans, and I'm going to revise it 10 times. Okay, so a person sees a locomotive that they love in the store window or whatever in the showcase, and they go, oh man, that's so nice, and they buy that, and then they bring it home and they think, oh, I want to build a railroad around it. Wrong, 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 right? Right, if you just want to be a collector. Like, just admit it, like, you're a collector then. But if you want to be a model railroader, there is a right way to go about it, and you don't slam people that work hard to, like SIG and stuff, and the NMRA, where people understand the fundamental principles that apply to achieving a successful model railroad. Successful meaning, do you enjoy it? Do you like to come to it every day? Does it give you fulfillment? Or is it just a burden? Do you find yourself saying, oh, geez, I got a million things to do, and I just want to run trains, and I'm just going to pass on this and that? Well, then forget about it then. Like, it doesn't sound like a person is enjoying what they're doing if they're lamenting about it. So if you really want to enjoy the model railroad, like at this level, and get to this level, which is achievable by the ordinary person, if they're willing, because I'm working really, really hard to share, to cover as much as I can to help people that are just starting out, people that are burgeoning, maybe just confirming that people that are just as good as me and are excellent modelers, just looking at it and saying, yeah, that's a cool way of doing it, or I do it that way, or whatever. I'm not trying to, you know, stand people and make people like discouraged. Like, don't get discouraged when you see work like this. Be encouraged and know that it's achievable through hard work and overcoming fear. So let me just close then with just some of the direction that I'm going in the next month with this layout River Road. So I'm getting close to painting the water because I know a lot of people have been requesting that, justifiably so, and I get it, right? But I don't, like, I take those comments and I respect them, but I just, you know, like, I'll respond to them, but like, I have my vision. Like, nobody's gonna, you know, move me from that, even though I hear great ideas all the time and so on, and I welcome them. But let me give you an example. When this shoreline is finished modeling, and it's about 4 feet long, so I'm almost there. I'm about halfway to where those locomotives are. There needs to be underbrush and other little details close in, but I'm not worried about that right now. Like, I'm building all this driftwood and, you know, snags and stuff. They're all out of wire. They're the same principle as the wire armature trees that I have comprehensively covered if you go back chronologically in the video section and watch the community tab. I cover how to do this, and there will be a tutorial on some of this, on the western red cedar, how I make that, and how to fair in a shoreline trunk like that, which is easier than you think. And then the big Sitka spruce that I'm really chomping at the bit to show you how I do that one. So that all the trees and how I do them are covered, and you can endeavor to take upon that method or revise it or ignore it altogether if you choose. But once I get this shoreline modeled and all the color is in, which is, I'm getting close now, then I'm going to decide on the color tone and shade of the river. I have several, I did like 6 test pieces with 12 layers of glazing. Different ripples on the water, smooth, you know, everything, right? I'm all doing with paint and artist mediums. I'm not using pouring resin, I'll just tell you that right now. But some of the artist mediums are like not epoxy resin, but acrylic type resin. But I'm not pouring a thick pool of, you know, simulated water like some like to do. But once I get this shoreline finished, then I'll know what color I want, also in contrast with the color of the barge slip, which I haven't painted yet, but I will be soon. Because once I paint this water, and then I'm going to paint the warehouse, and then the whole scene's going to pop, right? I'll know roughly the color of the barge slip. It's white predominantly, sort of weathered, you know, with tide marks on it and stuff like that. And then the red, primer red, you know, barge piles and stuff like that. It's all going to come together, but you just have to stay committed. You got to keep overcoming fear. I get fear too. I'll tell you that right now in closing. I get scared too. Believe me, I do. Like, a lot of this here is overcoming that fear. Like, you know, like that fear that says, oh, you can't do that, or that's too hard to do, or, you know, you'll never achieve. You just keep plugging away at it and making mistakes and making tons of parts and tons of pieces, and you just start to achieve greatness through just sheer commitment, fortitude, and hard work. That's the way it works. That's how you overcome fear, and that's how you make great art. So anyone can do it, but are you willing to commit to it? Do you feel compelled to do it? If you don't, that's fine. Then you're probably not watching this channel. But if you do, and you want to learn it, because that's kind of what the channel, like the channels here, it has great mature support, which is really what makes up the whole foundation of the channel. But there's young burgeoning artists and model railroaders that I want to welcome in as well, and I want you to come along this journey with me, and I want to share to you the failures, like my failures too, and I want to share to you my philosophy and, you know, maybe a little bit of my worldview now and again. Like some people don't like that, right? Like some people don't, oh, please, you know, keep your philosophy to yourself. We just want to hear about model railroading. Well, then you can go to another channel then for that. If you want to see, YouTube has a plethora of model railroad channels, but I want you to know right now that this channel is more than that. And it's open to all people of every age, gender, and race. And anyone that's interested in model railroading, like actually modeling a railroad, is going to enjoy this channel. Are you ever going to show your face? Well, I don't know, you know. I know that people have mentioned that, but you remember that show Home Improvement with the old guy, the wise old guy peeking over the fence, right? That's kind of, you know, that's kind of my motto. But anyway, the channel is going to get more exciting. And I have new lighting. Like, I appreciate the comments. People say, well, you don't really need it. But right now I'm using it, and it makes a difference because it lowers the ISO on the camera sensor, which means better image, sharper image. So thanks for all the comments. I welcome criticism, but you know, criticism is criticism. You know, I can take it the way I want. People say, you know, oh, well, you know, I think you should do this or that. That's great. You know, like I've responded to everyone. Like, you know that, right? Like up until now. I don't know if I can keep on doing that, like, but maybe by the end of this year. Like, I don't know. It depends on the workload, because it's not only a lot of work building this model and then doing video production, post-production, and then managing the channel. So it's a lot of work, but I work hard and I'm structured, right? And I know how to manage my time quite well. So that's my problem, okay? You don't need to worry about that. That's my problem. And I'll work that out for the convenience of everybody else who supports the channel. So feel free to subscribe and support Boomer Dioramas, which in turn will turn out greater content. And I do listen to suggestions and ideas, but I like to keep a lot of that talk in the community tab, okay? So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your support. Happy modeling, and I hope you have a great day.